This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create a professional website, blog, portfolio, and online store. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, just head on over to squarespace.com and use offer code Gamebreaker7. This episode is also brought to you by Shutterstock.com. With over 20 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 30% off your new account, go over to Shutterstock.com and use offer code Gamebreaker7.
Gamebreaker TV.
No, we didn't get new music. I queued up the wrong music. Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's After Dark. Video game open call, open lines. You guys call in. We take your calls, and yeah, that's how that works. Mike Shavin's on vacation, so I'm sitting in the pilot's chair. My co-pilot for the week is Mr. Mike Byrne from the freetoplay.tv website. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, sir. Enjoying my beverage of choice. How about you this fine evening?
What is your beverage of choice? Chocolate milk?
Grown-up chocolate milk. It's a white Russian with probably a little more Kahlua than it should have.
Big boy chocolate milk.
Yes.
I'm having a Bootleggers Brewery Rustic Rye IPA. They're not sponsored to the show, but I would be glad to have them on. So here's to you. It's been an interesting day.
How does this show work?
It's kind of complicated. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out as we go along, but it's been a pretty interesting day. I woke up yesterday, I had a normal thumb, and today I've got like a flesh-eating, fucked up thumb. It's really just, I don't know what's going on.
I saw your monitors video, and then all of a sudden it was like monitor and thumb.
Can't really see on the shot 'cause it's really close, but it's pretty gnarly. I don't know what it is. I went to the doc. So yesterday in the morning, like I was kind of a little red and kind of a little crunchy, but it hurt a little bit. I was like, whatever. And literally within 6 hours, there was like a little white dot on it. It looked like kind of like a pimple. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. Just whatever. Just bother me. And then by this morning, I woke up and it's just like this huge blister and it's all red. And now it's like red down to like here. I was like, wow, this doesn't look so good and it doesn't feel right. And then I jumped in the shower and then the water hitting my hand like changed the color of my skin. And then all of a sudden it hurt on like my index and my middle finger. And I could see like the red going down my fingers. And I was like, wow, this is like really spreading. This is like less than 24 hours and it's taken over half my hand. This can't be good.
I don't like that you described your thumb as crunchy.
Yeah. I think I'm okay though, because I was doing some research. The doctor thinks it could be a staph infection, which if I don't make it through the show, just call 911 or something, because apparently if that hits your heart, man.
Do we call on Skype? Do we call on the regular phone? I mean, we got
just
so
tweet
many
them.
things going at once.
Just tweet them.
Tweet them.
Social
Dear
media.
Police by Gary.
Yeah, he just fell over. Can you please go pick him up?
Send an ambulance with crunchy thumb fixing stuff.
Staph infection hit the heart. Move on. Yeah, I don't know. So hopefully it works out. I'm on the antibiotics. Probably not supposed to drink when you're on antibiotics, are you?
Probably not, but it's after dark, so I'm sure the doctors would be okay.
Yeah, it's 9:30. It doesn't matter. The antibiotics, they understand. It's 9:30 at night. Gotta have a drinky drink. Yeah. All right, so for those of you guys who missed pre-show, you guys should pay attention because when Mike Burns on pre-show, you get magic tricks. That was a damn good trick you did in pre-show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think I know how it's
very hard to become so.
This is great. This is great radio because we're talking about something that the viewer can never watch. So that's great. I'm trying to make you feel really bad that you don't show up early and for the live show. But I got to talk about
Derpy and did the same thing. By the way, if you didn't come early and stick around late, you didn't know what you were missing.
I think I know how that trick is done. I'm going to hit you up after the show because I want to know if I'm right. But I think I know.
All right.
I think that was a trick that I learned when I was a kid. I'm a huge Magic fan. So
awesome.
He's really effing good. It's kind of scary. All right, let's take a call and see who's on the line. See if I can make this thing happen. Hello, Carla. What is your name? Not starting out. Oh, hey. Hey, man. What's happening?
Great, I guess.
Great, you guess? Bad day? Come on, it can't be having a bad as day as I am. I just found out I might have a staph infection. You got to be having a better day than that.
I should be sleeping right now with like 7 a.m. where I am.
So you're just gaming all night? Just up all night gaming, waiting for the after dark?
Yeah.
Oh,
was
now I can
waiting
really
for you
hear
guys
you.
to start the show.
Fun fact, it's called After Dark here for me on the East Coast. Where you're at, the show is actually called Just Before Dawn. Fun fact that you U.S. people may not know.
It's a good joke. He took all week to write that one.
They get better the more of this I have, trust me.
So what's your question this week?
Well, my question is Steam legitimately stealing our money by giving us these great discounts?
Is Steam stealing our money by giving us these great discounts? So you're insinuating that you were just spending boatloads of cash this week on the Steam summer sale?
Yeah.
Would you rather pay full price?
There's a lot. No.
Or it's just that the carrot on the stick is just so enticing you can't just put your credit card away.
I spent a lot of cash, maybe 70, 80. Not sure.
70, 80 bucks. That's nothing for you. Saudi Arabia, you're like, just drilling oil or something. I don't know. You're probably like some rich dude. I haven't bought anything on the Steam sale this year. I've been buying stuff for other people. It's so weird. I've been this is what he bought. Maybe hang on the line for a minute, but I've been giving stuff away because I've been feeling bad that I haven't really wanted to buy anything. I feel like most of the games that are on the Steam summer sale right now are actually games that were on sale last time they did a big sale, and I bought the ones that I wanted then, and now I feel like a lot of them have come back up. I've already bought these, so I've not bought anything.
Yeah, and obviously I love the Steam summer sale. We're not bashing the sale itself. Just what happens to be on sale this year. I agree. It's a lot of the stuff that we already seen, and it's great looking there. And all right, Tomb Raider's $10 and Dishonored's $10, but I got that last time, so I'm the same way. It's been pretty much gifting. I haven't bought anything for myself. I take that back. I did buy some DLC that got some discounts for RPG Maker, but that was like $4. So it didn't.
Speaking of DLC, man, this doesn't. Did you see that Skyrim mod that I don't know if that guy or that group of people like put together this week? What is it called? Like, I don't have
with
the name
all
for
the voiceover and.
If you guys have not seen this, go to Gamebreaker TV and check this out. Yes, it's called like Falkser, I think, something like that with an F. Falskar. That's it, Falskar, and it's a mod for Skyrim. But holy crap, the work that these people put into it. I mean, it is full voiceover. Apparently has about 20 hours worth of content, full on questing, new zones, new areas to explore in Skyrim. I mean, what a resume, right? Like,
I know. It's like on par almost with the DLC stuff. And they make that point 2 or 3 times in their trailer, right? I would too. I'd be like, almost as good as ZeniMax and Bethesda. By me.
Almost. By me in my basement. And if I got hired by ZeniMax, I could make this even better than the stuff that they have. I haven't checked it out yet, but I definitely want to check it out. I think a lot of people are probably downloading that. That looks awesome.
No doubt.
Going back to Steam for a second, we have a Gamebreaker group. I just started like kind of doing more of the community stuff on the Steam stuff for everybody and friending people. They cut me off, they chop me off, and they won't let me friend anybody else. So I'm stuck. So we have a Steam group which you guys should all join because I just randomly be bored at like midnight after I'm playing a game and kind of like buy stuff and gift you guys stuff. So I'm not gonna do it with my friends list anymore because it's capped. So I guess you got to be in the Steam group. Just search Gamebreaker.tv and you'll be in the mix to possibly win stuff. I just kind of randomly pick people. So
am I eligible to win stuff?
No. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Where'd you get that shirt? You have a Magic Man shirt.
I do. So a horrible self-branding type person, marketing. It's all.
You selling those? Is that like a thing?
No, I don't sell.
Oh, too bad.
These are just. I do have one in a deep V that I'll send you. I mean, like deeper than what you've got on. I mean. You can almost see balls in this V, I'm pretty sure. That's how deep the thing is.
Let's go to another caller. Hello, caller. What is your name? Where are you from? Hello? Is this thing on? Am I coming through, caller? Caller DC. All right.
I'm receiving word that call may have been disconnected.
I've got a Twitter question.
Oh,
that's not gonna work. Wait. Wow, this show is really not working out.
let me just drink some more of this.
Oh. All right. Let's see. Can I do? Maybe I'm trying to. Where's Shaftnet? Shaftnet, get this show back on the rails. All right. So here is a question.
Isn't it like if Shaftnet's on though, everything works, but there's no audio?
Everything breaks. Everything breaks in the Shaftnets here. Everything's working today. All right.
Shaftnet's in chat.
There you go. Everything. He had to show up. He showed up in chat. Everything broke. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that looks pretty janky, but you get the idea. Let's see. At Gamebreaker TV, thoughts on Cube World and, of course, Cheesecake. Cheesecake hate it. I'm with Shafton on the Cheesecake. I hate Cheesecake, so... I hate Cheesecake, bro.
I can't even understand you guys sometimes.
Oh, who's that? Wait, random person. Hello, how are you? Caller.
It's not a random person. It's DC Creator.
DC Creator, what's up? Where are you from?
Oh, man.
I'll get back to that.
Fantastic.
I'll get back to that other Twitter question. This show's going fantastic. I know exactly what I'm doing. What's your question, dude?
So I was just going to ask what you guys thought about the announcement from Tor about Game Update 2.4. They recently announced that it's not all PvP. There's going to be 2 new operations and some new gear.
So what are they? Because I was running around doctors because they want to chop my thumb off, so I didn't get to read a lot of the news today. What actual PvP is going into the patch?
4 versus 4 Warzone arenas. That's it.
4v4 Warzone arenas. That's it. How many of them? 1?
No, I think there's supposed to be several different maps.
Several maps, all 4v4. And that's it. And this is the PvP
dubbed,
patch.
Yeah, this was dubbed the PvP patch.
Wow. Are you a big PvPer in SWTOR? Is that your main thing?
Well, lately, no. Lately, I've been doing operations. But you've been like hanging out and waiting for the PvP patch?
Yeah. So you've been waiting. Are you let down? It sounds like you're pretty depressed about it. I would be pissed.
Well, I've been playing since beta. I joined the game for open world PvP, but we all know how that went.
Oh yeah. That's a shitstorm. Ilum, forget it.
Yeah.
Does the community even want these 4v4 war zones? Is this something that you guys were even looking for?
On the forums, they have asked for it.
Players are looking for them, that you're saying.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. I was wanting something bigger though.
I thought they just wanted. They wanted more maps to the current system.
Yeah, I'm with you, DC. I think they wanted something a lot bigger. This totally went the other way and made it 4v4. Yes, they're probably happy to get some type of additional PvP, but this, as you said, was the PvP patch, and I think it's utterly disappointing across the board in every regards as far as PvP goes. I'm not a PvP guy, so I don't freaking care, but it would disappoint the hell out of me if they got the billing that it did, and then all we got was 4v4.
We can't figure out what's going on over there. Like, we talk about this every week on the Republic, and I watch from the sidelines and just, let those guys. Yeah. But I just don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't understand it. So, the PvP patch, so you got some 4v4 stuff. That's not bad. It's not like a bad thing, I guess, to get some PvP, but I guess they threw in some operations and stuff. Yeah, I think that everyone, because I think when we last week counted, chat room will tell me if I'm right, I think it was about 10 months since they've had like a real big PvP update. So this was it. Right. This is what they were getting and what they've been waiting for. And I think that they all thought like this was the moment it was all going to get fixed and we're going to get new stuff. And, PvP is going to be back in SWTOR. Now it just sounds like, here's some 4v4 stuff.
And I fell out of SWTOR a long time ago. I loved all the PvE stuff to max level, and then it got very boring very quickly. But my big question though would be, why is anybody surprised by that anymore? Like you said, we don't know what the hell's going on over there. We had the Jesus patch, and that was a colossal ugh. Then we have this is going to change the PvP aspect of the game, and it's a colossal ugh. Just kind of falls flat. I don't know why anybody's surprised anymore.
So I can't speak for the entire internet or the entire Star Wars: The Old Republic player base, but
Why
I
not,
can.
Gary?
Yes, I can do because I know it. Yes,
you can.
but no, but seriously,
Give a
like
microphone, you're fine.
the thing I don't understand about it, what I don't really get is it seems like it's been really broken for at least PvP, right? There's a lot of good content there. We talk about this all the time.
Yep.
Star Wars really has a lot of amazing PvE content. The story stuff, if you haven't done it, is fantastic.
Yep.
On the PvP side, it seems like it's really been borked for a long time, and I don't really know of anybody that's really saying otherwise. Why are people still holding on, waiting for it to like be fixed? I mean, there's plenty of other good PvP games out there. Like, and if you're really interested in competitive PvP and you want a good pool of players to play against, you want that kind of competition, you really want to be serious. There are other games out there for you to play. It's not like why do people hang on to like MMOs for so long?
Do you think the hardcore PvPers are still hanging on?
Probably not most of them, no. But I think just people still like DC kind of like still playing and maybe peripherally hoping that it sounded like, he's really hoping that patch would come and that things were going to get fixed. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess there's always hope, but I don't know. It's always been weird to me about MMOs. You don't think there's any hope? Yeah, Larry Everett said they should just stop all PvP in the entire game and just make it a PvE game at this point.
And you know what? I saw when he said that, I saw chat kind of go kind of crazy. I could not have agreed with Larry more, and I don't often agree with Larry on a lot of things. But it's one of those things where you did the story so well, the PvP is almost a drain right now. Stop doing that and sink some time into making the raids a little more interesting and dynamic now because you have this great PvE experience going. Focus on it and keep it going strong. But I would not be opposed to that decision.
You cover all the free-to-play games on freetoplay.tv and I mean, what's your take on it as far as like a player base and that type of game though? Because we always talk about this. What's your opinion what is your opinion? Do you think the average Star Wars: The Old Republic player just like they don't necessarily care as much as we do? Like they're not watching our show, they're not watching Gamebreaker TV, like they're not that dialed in. Like they're just some much more casual player, just do their normal thing. They actually have a life, they see the sun, they maybe have a girlfriend, they maybe have sex like 3 times a year, and then they come home and they play Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's like, hey, just like a pastime, and they're not really like, oh my god, this is not balanced. They just kind of jump in and have fun and jump out and do whatever.
I think you kind of pegged it, maybe minus the whole sex and girlfriend thing, but they're hardcore Star Wars people before they're hardcore MMO people, I think. At least that's myself. I played Star Wars as long as I did because I was more a Star Wars person than a good MMO person when it came to that particular game. And I think that's a big fan of or big indication of the audience. Larry is kind of the perfect example, right? Star Wars nut, and if he stepped back and looked at it, which he does occasionally through his MMO lenses, and he's very critical about some things. If it wasn't Star Wars, I don't know if Larry would still be playing it, but because it's Star Wars, he is.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Fine, and that's probably a big portion of their audience.
I find that unfortunate. Like I'm
sad.
like, man,
it is sad.
I don't want to say it's sad because it makes it sound like you're calling like the person playing the game is sad.
No.
It's
sad as a Star Wars fan seeing that happen.
Right, yeah. Because I mean, we all I grew up with it. Like I wanted SWTOR to be like this amazing MMO, like, and especially back to my SWG days. Got a drink, bro. I said SWG. It's a thing.
See, I don't know the AD rules.
That's a thing.
Shaftnet in chat is supposed to let me know about this stuff.
No, when I talk about SWG, you got to drink. So there you go. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. Star Wars kind of screwed the pooch in my opinion, as far as like for the hardcore audience. I feel like for our audience, for the Gamebreaker audience, I don't know. But like I said, I think there's still a lot to offer there on the PvE side for sure. But definitely. I think a lot in the other areas, it's kind of like, you know what I am excited about though, right? Don't you? I'm plugging them way too much. They should be paying for it. They're not. But Firefall. Oh my. Well, I could do an
Good
hour
old
show
Red
about
5.
Firefall. I'm telling you, old schoolers, they're watching, they're listening. The old fans of the Star Wars galaxies, telling you, I think they've got it on their roadmap. It may be the next hope. I got that survey. I got a survey from them. It's kind of like really kind of set at home. And when I was over there for Firefall Fest, talked to the guys, love a lot of the stuff they're talking about. A lot of this stuff isn't in the game yet, right? So they could still totally screw it up. They could just
Have you even figured out how to play yet? That was the conversation we had the other day. How do you play Firefall?
Well, some of it's confusing for a lot of players because they don't really like handhold you. There's no quests. There's not really much of a tutorial. They don't really like walk you through stuff. They're just kind of like, hey, here's this world, go do it. And right now it's a little limited. It's a little repetitive right now. But I think what's on their roadmap and what they're looking at. And then when I got that survey, there was a lot of questions about armies, which is your guild, building bases and army bases, meaning like your own base, like place it here, do this sort of thing. Questions about, would you like to see being able to expand that compound and have other buildings attached to it? My brain says Star Wars Galaxies, Player Cities. Yes, I want to do that. The next questions were, do you want open world PvP, ganking? Do you want to be able to burn those other motherfuckers' buildings down? Yes, I want to do that. Yes, thank you very much. And they asked the right questions. So I have hope. They could screw it up, man. They could, who knows? It's all about the execution.
They say the right things.
They say the right things. They make me happy.
And we know they're willing to totally throw out what they have and start it all over again just because it's not what the players wanted. So that gives me some good hope for it.
All right, let's take the call.
Firefall.
Hello, caller. What is your name? Where are you from?
Hello. I'm Incognito Alex. Been calling you previously.
Hello, Alex. Where are you from?
Well, hello.
Britain.
Oh, my.
Where is it? I'm keep cutting out a little bit. Redmond? Richmond? What'd you say?
Oh,
Britain. Britain. What part of Britain are you from?
Scotland. Yes,
Oh,
I'm one
Scotland.
of those cheaters. It's not after dark here.
Oh,
It's morning.
that's not- Good for you, sir. Thanks for watching the show. What's your question tonight?
In quite a few games, I'm limited to what I can call my character. In some other, just a few of them, I can name it just an asshole, and everyone's going to be fine with it. Name that one in World of Warcraft, I'm going to get banned. How long do we still need hand-holding? And do you have any
Ooh.
problems with your names?
So the old censorship naming policy. You know, I'm kind of the take of I'm kind of okay with the game companies having some criteria based around game names and what sort of gets said. I guess you could relate it to like how we run our community at Gamebreaker. Is I guess what I'm going to pull back around to, because we don't really allow. We're kind of like, I think a little bit more. We're more of a police state than most. That's right. I said it. Gamebreaker is like a police state. But we do. We rule our chat room on Twitch, and we
Down
rule
with Ganon. Down with Ganon. Down with Ganon.
We do. And when we first started out, it was like, well, we gotta have rules. You gotta have some rules, or the internet takes off and goes crazy. And the other thing is that, you know, some of the shows we get a little crazy. We swear a little bit now and again. We used to never do that. We do a little bit more. But at the same time, there are kids watching, you know, and for gaming companies that kind of, you know, they also know that. I mean, there's got to be like, what do you think our youngest kid playing, like, you know, World of Warcraft is? It's probably pretty young. And I don't know. It shouldn't be open and just like, you know, allow that you can type whatever the hell you want as a name that kid is like, mommy, what does bleep, 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 bleep mean? So I'm okay with it. Where are you at? You just want to open, you want anarchy? What?
I don't want anarchy. But I do think that there's room for more mature topics and exploration in MMOs. And I don't mean Scarlet Blade. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, I agree with
say
that.
more
You're
mature
you're talking about like an MMO. See, I thought you were talking about like his naming conventions and stuff. You're talking
Right,
about like the
but
MMO being
here's
more
what
of a
I'm saying.
mature MMO.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. And naming conventions goes along with this. why am I limited on what I can do naming wise when I'm playing a product that clearly has on the box I have to be 18 or older to be able to play or purchase?
What about immersion? Do you care at all about the immersion of it, or you just like don't really care?
To me, no, and that's because I'm not real big into RP or anything like that.
It's a weird. I'm not an RPer at all, but I would actually
little thing there.
That's weird too, because I'm not an RPer. Like I don't like type in any kind of weird speak or anything. But I actually am kind of for companies saying like you have to have like a decent name. I'm okay with that. Like I don't like silly names. I think they're kind of ridiculous. But I don't know. It's kind of weird too. So on the flip side, I'm not an RPer, but I kind of don't.
On the
like,
other side of this, though, it kind of goes with that whole argument of, well, I should be able to say whatever I want in chat because there is a filter, right? And if you don't want to hear it, you can turn it on. So I do hear this argument, and I understand it. I'm just not really for it, only when we're talking about titles that already have that 18 or older flag. When you're talking about World of Warcraft, there is the expectation that a younger audience is going to be playing it.
I think the other thing that comes
like the Secret World, there shouldn't be that expectation, or you're deliberately catering a product to an audience that the ESRB is saying you should not be marketing it to anyway.
Okay, but do you really need like OMFG kick you in the balls, mother effer, like like your name needs to be like.
But what does he take away by running past you in game?
Nothing. What is it? What does that person gain by naming his character that?
Well, he's happy with his character's name, just like you are with your more realistic name.
I'm happy if he runs by and he's got a realistic name. Now we're even.
Right, but you're not. You just said he doesn't take anything away from your experience by running past with that name.
If he's got a terrible name, I might be annoyed at it. So that's a -1. He's got a +1. I got a -1. It equals out.
You might have your perfect name for your character, and he hates it. So now your score's tied at 0 again.
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with game developers putting some restrictions on their game. It's their world, It's almost like telling having a book and telling the reader to just like write their own chapter. Be like, here, do whatever you want. I kind of left this chapter out. You read 1 through 3. You just write 4 and go to 5. Do your own thing. No, it's their world. It's their lore. It's their stories that they came up with. And I think that
name doesn't impact the story they're trying to tell.
I think it does. If I don't want the name just ridiculous balls in your mouth, haystack. F51 fucker. Like if I don't want, there's nobody in my story named that.
Well, you're reading a boring story, and that's not my
obviously. But if there's nobody in my story that I wrote and built this game called that, then why would I want that? I don't know. I'm kind of okay with them putting restrictions on. I don't think it needs to be like free reign, and I don't think the game really suffers from forcing players to do that a little bit.
I don't think the game suffers either way, whether you have absolute open or certain restrictions across the board. And you're right. I mean, it's at a certain point, you're going to have to put a line in there at some point when people start putting racial things in their name. Is that okay simply because you were allowing Floppin' to be an acceptable name? We're having an argument out of a little bit of fun here, but eventually both of us realize there's going to be a line at some point.
And your line is different than my line. My line is different than your line.
Right. It may be easier for the developers to just put the line up as far forward as they can and not have to worry about any of it behind.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Police state. NSA this bitch up. Throw out that Constitution. I'm completely joking. This is all sarcasm.
Big time sarcasm.
I have to flash that on the screen because there'll just be like comments flowing in. Be like, what are you crazy? What are you crazy?
All right, so DJG in chat wants to know what we think an acceptable name would be then. Like an inappropriate acceptable name. And again, that goes right back to what we were saying, right?
You could sit here and
find your line here, mine's
exactly.
Here.
I think most of the gaming companies out there that do have some restrictions on it, and I actually think like World of Warcraft to some extent really did a really good job of sort of being able to police out the really bad stuff and let the other stuff go in. And there's still goofy names all over the place, but none of them really cross a line that's like offensive and just like, hey, I'm on freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. Right? I know.
I like how we're talking MMOs and you segue the conversation to books. You constantly bring it back to books. You're just a master at that type of stuff. Whoa! What?
Audible.com/Gamebreaker. Gamebreaker. I'm singing a song just so you can get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial. And today I am going to recommend a book that I've not even read or listened to. But I spent like an hour the other night. I know it's weird, right? But I'm being honest. Hey, I got to be honest. Like I'm not going to lie and be like, I read this book and it's amazing. No. But I sat around with my buddy the other night and he told me about this book. And he just like an hour just started gushing about how good it was. And sci-fi, it's called Ready Player One. And it is the next book on my list on Audible. And they have it on Audible. And I immediately went to Audible. Check this out. This has to be insane. It's got 6,660 reviews. And it's, yeah. I mean, you're talking, that is a lot of reviews. And it's a 4.7 stars out of 5. So it's about 60. I'm going to check out a sample here. I've not heard any of this, but he could not. It's narrated by Will Wheaton. It's narrated by Will Wheaton. And he just could not stop talking about this book. And everything he told me about it just sounds so fantastic that I really just thought like the Gamebreaker community is going to love this book. You read this book. I want to hear about it in a second. But I want to play this. I want to hear this, Will sounds on this. Where is it?
Vid feeds. Among these was my own channel, Parzival TV, broadcasting obscure eclectic crap, 24/7, 365. Earlier that year, GSS had added a new feature to every Oasis user's account, the POV, Personal Oasis Vid Feed channel. It allowed anyone who paid a monthly fee to run their own streaming television network. Anyone logged into the simulation could tune in and watch your POV channel from anywhere in the world.
This is amazing. All right, I got to stop here. Seriously? Like there's so much, like he was telling me about all the nostalgia and the references and things that like tell me about it. You read this book.
Oh yeah. I read it a while ago. It's maybe a year, 2 years old, somewhere around there. So still pretty new. All right, short synopsis for you. A guy invents what is like an MMO game. It goes crazy. Everybody starts playing it because life on Earth sucks. It's like 40 years in the future. Mid-2000s, somewhere in there. Life sucks. Earth's resources are just about gone, so everybody spends their time in this virtual Oasis world. The guy that created the place dies, and he decides to leave his vast fortune to whoever can decode all the riddles and jokes and pop culture references that are from the 80s that are in this old-time movie. And so people are teaming up, and there's a leaderboard and tracking. All
right, I don't want to hear anymore. So I feel like you're gonna don't give any spoilers away because I feel like you're gonna give something away.
No more story. I'm just gonna say it. Not only does it appeal to gamers, but there is tons of 80s pop culture, movies, music references in there too. It's not just a gamer's book. That's all I wanted to make sure people knew. Not just for gamers.
But gamers are really gonna get it.
They're really, really gonna like it.
Yeah, like I mean that little snippet, I'm just like, oh my god, like we're doing an internet television show. The whole Check it out. Go over to audible.com/Gamebreaker. Gotta use the URL. Make a new account, download the app, put it on your iPhone, put it on your Android device, whatever you got. You're gonna get a free audiobook just by using that URL. You gotta use the URL to get the free audiobook and use it for free for 30 days. How this is, a lot of people keep asking me like how the system works. So basically there's a monthly after the 30 days, if you like it. There's a subscription. You pay per month, but you get credits, depending on what tier you want to do. And then you spend those credits for books. So basically, like, if you want, there's like a 1-book thing, like a 2-book thing, like how much you kind of listen to stuff, you do that. So that's kind of how the whole system works. But try it out free for 30 days. No questions asked, no strings attached. Download a free book. Want to get you to listen to it. And this is definitely going to be the recommendation. This is on my list. I'm going to listen to this week. Comes at 15 hours, 46 minutes. Again, Ready Player One, definitely the book I think a lot of the Gamebreaker community will enjoy this week. All right, let's throw it.
Might be the best place to get that right now, actually.
Well,
it's
that's
hard to find a physical.
That's what I was saying. So my buddy actually had to go searching for it and couldn't actually find one. He went to like a really hardcore sci-fi bookstore here in Los Angeles, and they were like, "We have 1 copy left," and like it's really hard to even get in. So I don't know, I'm excited, and especially excited to hear Will kind of read that entire thing. So. Definitely. Check it out again. Go audible.com/Gamebreaker. Got to use the URL, audible.com/Gamebreaker. Love the Audible. All right, let's throw back to another caller and get back into it. Caller, you're on the line with the After Dark crew. What is your name? Where are you from?
Hey, this is Chad calling from Canada, West Coast Canada. Not Eduardo. I got an Eduardo spot.
So Canada would probably have my thumb all fixed up already. I probably wouldn't even have had to pay that $35 copay I had to pay today. Bummer.
No, it would be
Canada,
totally
hey.
free unless you're American. Then they charge you money.
Of course, sure. What's your question?
Okay. Let's see. What is your first day or week playing your first MMO like? Back
What
in
is
the
my
old days,
first-
like I sold fogies.
What is my first day / like week like? What do you mean by that? Like, what am I focused on? What am I doing? Like, what do you mean? Do I like go to the store and buy like a bunch
Did
of
you have
Cheetos
fun?
and Red Bull and sit home and
Yeah,
like,
what did-
not leave?
Yeah. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Were you disappointed?
Are you saying from
what
our
kind of
first
experience did you
MMO
have?
ever?
Oh yeah.
Or you're saying,
yeah.
oh, first
ever.
MMO I ever played. Okay, gotcha. I thought you just meant like in general when a new MMO comes out, like, what are you gonna do when WildStar comes out? No, okay, I gotcha. Okay, so my first MMO ever was EverQuest. And I gotta say, like, it's not as exciting as like a story. Like I didn't like, I know now like when there's like new MMOs come out, like people like go to Costco and like fill up the, with Hot Pockets and like Red Bull and Mountain Dew and just like, I'm making a run. We're going to go like all week and I'm not going to leave my chair. And like, no, it wasn't anything like that. Like I've been a gamer for my entire life as a kid, Atari, Nintendo and television, like all the consoles. Then got into PC gaming, started getting computers who loved PC gaming. And I don't remember I'm trying to think of the store. It was like one of those stores that don't really exist anymore. It was like EB Games or one of those.
Like a Babbage's.
Something like that. I can't, Babbage's. The 3 people remember that one. But it was a store like that. And I remember walking by and I remember just seeing this box and it was this thing called EverQuest. And I liked fantasy games. I loved games like Zork and King's Quest and stuff like that. I was always an RPG nerd.
Damn crew.
And I saw the box and it said something on the box. I don't remember, but there was something that, communicated like online, play with real people or something. And like, I didn't even know what that was. Like I wasn't paying it. I missed Ultima and some of those games. I wasn't really paying attention and, took it home and I loaded it up. And I just remember watching the first person like run across my screen. And I was just like, holy shit, that's a real person. Like that's like a person, really? Like that's a person in my game. So it was a weird experience. I mean, I was pretty much hooked after that. I played a lot, but I played EverQuest very wrong for a long time. I didn't get the whole thing. Like I didn't have
A
any
lot of people are
friends.
still playing it wrong, so don't worry about it.
Well, at the time, I didn't have any friends who were playing any of these types of games. So I didn't know anyone in the real world that was playing like MMOs. I don't even know if I really knew what an MMO was at the time. Like I guess at some point I realized the terminology, but I didn't have friends that were playing it. So I didn't get the whole concept of like a guild right away and like playing with people. So like I was playing it like I was playing single player RPGs. I was like, I was in like the Tulos Forest, like scared out of my freaking wits because it was so dark and a spider was going to jump down or a train of kobolds were going to come out and just like slaughter me. And it was really hard. So I played wrong for a really long time. Yeah. I'm probably still playing wrong.
We're gonna have to watch you stream and just be like, Gary, things haven't changed. You're still
Dude, Final
doing
Fantasy
it wrong."
14, I'm a full-on clicker. I'm playing exactly correct. I'm playing the right way. It's my drink in the left hand, my right hand on the mouse, and I just play like Final
Oh,
Fantasy
that
14.
was the best voice chat message ever. There's like hours where Gary's in room but does not say a word. He's just there, and all of us are chattering about Final Fantasy 14. And then we hear, "Hey, Burn, yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy the way it was meant to be played, with one hand."
I get it now, man. I totally get it. I get how the game is supposed to be played. You're like supposed to do other stuff. One hand on the mouse, do whatever you want. It's totally cool. I get it. I don't know. That was my first. I don't remember if that was my first day, but that was like first few weeks of an MMO. It was basically just really amazed at the fact that those were real live people. And I'm kind of still amazed. I think I was always fascinated by virtual worlds after that. Just like the whole concept of virtual reality really just kind of struck a chord. I was like, this is so weird.
Right?
jack me in. I just want to get off this rock and just like, I'm done. I don't know. What was your experience like?
I was console too. I was like EQ console. Because for the longest time I was a console baby. A lot of that had to do, and I didn't have the money for a decent computer, and so I was a console guy by force there, and have all of them almost. And EQ Online Adventures for the PS2 was the first MMO I picked up. I had no clue. I mean, I knew.
Oh
what some
wow,
of
you
this
did it
stuff
on
was,
the console.
but but I had no clue how expansive this stuff was. I just knew that it was an online game. And so EQ Online Adventures was the very first one I ever got in. I did then, of course, go to other titles that had already existed on the PC, but EQ Online Adventures was the first. That lasted 2 days.
2 days?
2 days.
You quit?
2 days. I quit.
Why?
I was a
Why?
console baby, man, and that was just like, this is ridiculously slow. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool that Gary Gannon, whoever the fuck that is, just ran by. That's awesome. But this is really slow, and it's boring, and I don't know what's going on, and there's too many systems, and forget
Wow.
it.
So what's weird is we flip flop roles because I think that now about MMOs, and you love them, and I hate them. No, I'm kidding.
I
don't
do.
hate them. I
So
think a lot of them are
then-
shit right now, though.
I get a decent computer, and obviously my first inclination is, let me try this World of Warcraft thing that everybody's talking about. And Warcraft, again, I lasted a day and a half. Super easy compared to
You give
EQ
up
Online
really
Adventures.
quickly. I was gonna
But
say World of Warcraft. Like you gave
it
up on
wasn't
that.
hard. It was just boring as piss, man. I was so bored. But then I find some of the harder things, like Dark Age of Camelot and some of the things before that with the Ultima Online, and I start getting into it. My computer still sucks. It can run WoW. But
So you
that's
started
about
playing
it.
Dark Age after WoW came out.
Yes.
Wow.
And
You went backward.
then-
Yeah, you went back to the golden age of MMOs.
I
right
still
there.
haven't had a week of MMOs at this point. Still haven't. Final
Now
Fantasy
all he does is
11.
write about them. Figure this out. Keep going. I want to hear where this
Final
goes.
Fantasy 11.
Oh, that was it.
It comes out for the console. I still have the box and the hard drive for the PS2 and everything over here because that was the whole package. Came with the hard drive for the PlayStation 2, the game, all of it, subscription fee. And that was frickin' it, man.
That's when you just jacked in. It was over with. Weeks
It was
upon
done.
weeks of your life lost.
It was done. There was probably 2.5 weeks straight from when I got it on launch day. My wife and I rotated sleeping because we had one child and one toddler and one baby. At that
I'm
time.
laughing, but there's
So
something
we
so wrong with this
rotated.
story. Like, do you
No,
realize
there's
how
nothing
wrong
with
this
story.
is? Yes, there
that
is.
means I married the right woman, man. I would play till like 6 a.m. She would go to bed. She would wake up and play while I went to work, came home and went to bed, and then we would switch. She'd come to bed at like midnight.
What was the
crazy.
reasoning behind like rotating? Why didn't you like play together?
Because we had one PlayStation 2, brother.
Oh,
we had
gotcha.
One PlayStation 2. The computer couldn't handle it. Later on down the line, when I did, start actually working at a real job instead of at Best Buy at the time, when I started working at a real job and got a better computer, we did start playing together. But that was the first week, man. And it was crazy. Then I went to WoW and played both of them at the same time, and it got ridiculous. And now I play them all, and still buy the console games, but don't have a lot of time to play any of them.
I don't know where you find out how to play the games you play. He plays everything. He plays like every MMO to like max level, most of them. He's got like high level characters.
Really close, yeah. I don't have.
I don't know
max level
how.
everything,
I can't do it.
but
People ask me all the
they're
time,
up
like,
there.
what are you playing? Or you're probably not max level. And it's like, no, dude, like a lot of these games, I'm not max level. Like I go in, I play them a bunch. I get to like, mid levels. But then like if we're talking about games, like I got to go and do something else and talk about another game. I don't know where you find the time, man. You have like a max level in almost every game out there, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I don't focus on are things like Age of Wushu, where it's predominantly PvP.
PvP,
right?
sure.
So I go in and watch the updates so that I can speak intelligently about it, but I'm not an expert on it. But most games, I wouldn't say max level in everything, but pretty
Pretty
damn
high,
close
pretty
in
high.
A lot of things, yeah.
I don't know if the question in chat from Gump played Shadowbane. I'll answer it. Yes, but I missed the heyday and I'm bummed. I did miss the heyday, but I played it quite extensively, but I did miss it.
Yeah,
good
I missed the heyday.
So EverQuest was the game I played really badly. Of course, everybody knows. Get your drinks ready. Star Wars Galaxies.
Well,
That was the game for me that really that's when it really clicked. As broken as that game was. So that's when I sort of had a similar experience of just like no sleep, played way too much, almost lost my marriage, the whole nine of just like didn't eat.
I married the gamer.
It was that one game we used to do not what you did with your wife, but we used to do something similar where because they had player cities in the game. We were talking about Firefall before, right? That's why I get to be excited. So we had one of the player cities in Star Wars Galaxies, and we used to recruit people in all different time zones because at one point we didn't have anybody in like Australia and stuff. So we would have officers and people setting their alarm clocks for like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m, like to get up and make sure that like it was defended and had resources and like everything was going to happen or we're going to lose stuff. It was out of control. It was ridiculous. The good old days.
Crazy.
The good old days.
So different now. It's so different now.
I have yet to see a game that kind of like really entices people to play like that, which is sad.
That's who makes the sandwiches in my relationship. I do.
Who makes the White Russians?
I make those as well.
Good for you. Let's take a caller. Hey, what's up? You're on After Dark. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, what's up? This is X-Dega from Nebraska.
Hello, X-Dega from Nebraska.
Oh, Gary, we gotta hang up. I'm not allowed to talk to X-Dega.
Why? Did he do something bad? Did you ban him?
X-Dega destroyed my
I think he's still mad about Dice
streak
Venture.
in Dice Venture.
Oh, yeah, I heard you suck pretty bad in Dice Venture. X-Dega kind of wants to know why you're so
Hey, we
bad.
could do a rematch anytime.
Hey, I was undefeated until I went onto that stream. I had never lost.
That game is hella fun.
It's ridiculously.
It is. It really is. It seems so simple. Like Shaft and I loaded it up and we're like, oh, it's Monopoly. Like, and we started playing it. And I was like, this is a lot of fun. It's a good game. What's your question?
I don't know if there's any.
What was that?
I said I don't know if there's any skill to that game though. That's one thing. Like, it seems to be all luck. Like all luck. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's kind of the fun of it.
There's a certain skill on what to build and
Yeah.
when.
Yeah, I just kind of spam, like, build whatever I can.
Just build everything and then take everything. So what's your question?
Yeah. Okay, my question is, recently, Sony, they tested a game controller for the PS4 that could detect sweat.
Yes.
My question to you is, which biometric sensor would you like to see in the game controller and for what purpose?
I'll leave that one over to Burn.
I'm going with retina scan so that I can put all kinds of things on that hard drive and make sure nobody sees them.
You're going with retina scanner, huh?
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Okay. I'm going to go with...
Think about it, though. They've already done an awful lot of them, haven't they? I mean, even the Wii had it, the heart monitor and stuff at one point.
I'm going to go with the Oculus Trojan Rift.
Oh, my God. And the show hits new lows.
I know chat room was thinking it. I was thinking it.
Well, I kind of went there when, like, I would hide my porn, right? And behind my little retina scan, but you guys were like, no, just watching isn't enough. Oh, all of chat is like, yeah, I was totally thinking
it's 2013, man. Let's get on with it already. How has it not happened yet?
I'm sure it has. Come on.
Didn't everybody assume that was going to happen when like Nintendo put out the Power Glove? They're like, oh shit, Power Glove. You know what the next stop is, right?
A peripheral that works, maybe.
You know it's coming. They got Power Glove. They did one more accessory. You're done. Never came. Boom, pa. Didn't even mean that pun.
Then jeez.
Wow, think about it. It took them a while. Let's go to a Twitter question. Get the hell
there's a
off
delay. There's a delay.
Do we have a delay? Somebody step on the delay. This isn't working. Wow. Where'd this show go? Mike Shafted, can we get you back? All right. Let's see. Saren says, Gamebreaker, with Mike Shafted out of the studio, just how much less stuff has randomly stopped working? Pretty much everything. Good answer, right?
Everything
happens.
works. We just don't know how to work it.
That's what happens when you don't screen the tweets. There you go. Caller, what is your name? You are on the line, and where are you from?
I go away for 1 week.
He's probably been planning this
And
all
you-
week.
Q, dump. Q, dump.
This is all you do.
What are we doing? Am I messing up your show?
I don't know. How's it going?
Trojan Oculus Rift. I mean, it seemed like a good idea.
It's going okay. You
Wow.
okay?
Good. I don't have much of a question. I just thought I'd call and check in, see how it's
Yo,
going.
you have to have a question, bro. You can't just like call into our show and not have a question. This is After Dark, the live call-in show. Mike Shaftnit's out of the office for a week. I'm sitting in the pilot's chair, and you got to have a question.
You got to play by the rules, partner.
Oh, okay. All right. So my question then, I guess, is how well is the studio running now that I can't statically charge all of the computers?
Everything has been working fine. Like nothing has not worked perfectly, completely normal all week.
Oh.
I hear the static
Good.
electricity
That's good.
coming through the goddamn Skype line from you.
I
Where are you?
That's very.
Tell it where
I'm
where
in a cornfield. At the
you're in a
moment.
cornfield where outside of Chicago somewhere?
Yes.
Good.
Right outside
good.
Chicago.
I might have you might not want to come back to work because I may have like a flesh eating disease, by the way, so you may just want to keep away.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
All right.
Do you
Sounds
have a question? Do you have a question?
No, I
You better get in
literally
here. You
don't.
got we got new shows to launch. You've got a new show to launch on Monday, a new World of Warcraft show that we haven't even talked about. People don't even know.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't launch on Monday. It launches on Tuesday. Let's not get people's hopes up.
Yeah, we're recording it on Monday, launching it on Tuesday. Don't even have a name yet. How many
Be
World of
interesting.
Warcraft
I
shows can
really got nothing.
Gamebreaker make?
I'm gonna let
As
you guys get
many
back to-
as
I'm gonna let you
many
guys get actually
as
back to the
many
show.
as people will watch.
Exactly.
Hey, Shaftnet. Shaft.
What? Yes.
All right. So.
Nice.
Oh.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
I think I've got one more Twitter question here that I did not look at before the show because I'm not as prepped as the one and only Mike Shaftnitz. This is a good one. I like this one. All right, good one. Tidonius says, now that Gary has discovered it, what are your thoughts on Star Citizen? So it's not that I just discovered it, but I did geek out the other night and completely I had some time and I dove in. Like I really, because there's so much. I don't know if have you checked it out? Have you looked at Star Citizen?
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those things you were peripherally aware of but didn't know much about until you dove in and got lost for a day.
Well, no, like I knew, the Kickstarter thing, Wing Commander, the guy who's making it, makes films. Like I knew who he was. Like I knew all this, the backstory of like the peripheral stuff. But then it's like you go to the website and it's like you can really start digging. And it's like they're going that whole immersion route where like everything is like in character. So there's like, geez, have you seen? Did you go deep? Like I went deep. Like I went deep, reading like the brochures for like your ships and all that kind of stuff.
No,
There's
I
like,
didn't go that far.
Oh yeah, no, there's like PDF brochures for the different ships of like it's like a car catalog, and it's like, yeah, man, it goes deep. I started watching like hour-long like slideshow presentations about it, and yeah, like 5-6 hours later, I just like. So Star Citizen is it's created by the guy who made Wing Commander, Privateer, a bunch of other games. He's been away from the video game industry for quite a while. Comes back, goes to Kickstarter. I think are they the number 1 or number 2 most highest raised games from Kickstarter? I think it's either one or 2. I don't remember, but it's like 11 point something million. They're probably more than that because they're still taking pledges online, even though the Kickstarter's over. So raised a phenomenal amount of money for Kickstarter, and basically it's going to be like a single player experience with like missions, and then once you sort of finish these missions, I guess you could not do these if you don't want to, but there's a whole online, I'll call it an MMO for now. I'm still going to be optimistic, and like I'm trying to did you watch, so what stuff did you watch? Did you watch the interviews and stuff about the game?
Yeah, I watched any of the video content I watched. I didn't sit there and flip through the PDFs and stuff like that. I love sci-fi, but this...
Dude, I ordered the 300i. The 300i ship is...
It's like, I could just see it's like you were shopping for a car. Honey, what do you think of this?
Dude, I totally did that. That's what I'm saying.
Look at the leg room in the cockpit. I mean, look at the leg room. It's fantastic.
Well, chat room will not. My chat room is going to blow up and be like, yeah, the 300i is badass. I know. Go ahead. But go ahead. So what did you... I
don't know.
What is your take on it? I mean, is it an MMO?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, I will call it an MMO for now just because that's the easiest way to describe what they're trying to do while we still wait for more details. But I don't think that term... I mean, it's going to have a lot of people. They're going to be online all at the same time. Yeah, I get it. It's an MMO. But the way we understand an MMO, I don't think it's going to fit that mold exactly. And it's one of the games, too, that they're trying to do so much. I hope they just don't end up doing everything not well because they tried to do too many things.
See, that's what I'm not sure about.
What I'm super excited about, but also nervous about.
But wait, explain that to me, because here's name off some of the things that you think, what are they trying to do that's so much?
Well, the whole idea of everything being so immersive and sandboxy and open to character or player customization, and this is the way we're going to try to tell a story, but we're going to let you influence the way all the story angles flow. It seems like really interesting and interactive, right?
But see, so here's the thing. So out of all of that, right? I agree with you. And then you watch all the videos, and here's why I don't want to say I'm scared for it. Again, I bought my ship. I can't wait for it. I'm ready for it. But what I found was watching all those videos, if you'll notice something, and I want to talk about this because I think a lot of the MMO fans and Gamebreaker fans are super excited for this, and they think it's going to be like, an MMO that's going to be sick. And
no, it's not. I mean,
he talks about like the immersion,
is primarily single player driven.
Sure, but then there's that whole other thing, there isn't like an open world. But what's really interesting is he talks a lot about finite details, which I think are super important. I do think that like to create a living, breathing universe and world, he's showing off like how the turrets go up and down and how the shields open and deploy, and how this like, inside of your ship, the chairs turn. He's showing all these like really, really finite details that we're not normally used to seeing in games, which I think are super important. They're awesome. It looks great, right? How many polys you... But then whenever somebody like asks in an interview or talks about some of the other stuff and like the open world stuff and the MMO aspects, it's like these vague references, and then he immediately diverts back to talking about how like finite these details are, but they're all like very specific things. Like I said, they're like graphics and they're like animations, and again, he never really gets into how the world's going to work. How's the economy going to work? Like, the only thing that he's really, that I found that he talked about a little bit, is that it definitely sounds that, it's not going to be EVE Online. You're not going to have 1,000 ships like in a gun battle and things like that. So it's going to be smaller, but I don't feel like there's specifics yet. So I'm really holding out. I'm not saying it still can't be a really great game and be fun, but I think
the way I worded it is very accurate, is that I'm excited about it, but it also makes me a little bit nervous right now because I just don't quite know what to expect with the information we have.
But, he talks about like sandbox elements. Okay, well, like people who understand that term like want some sort of like some examples of that. Like you're showing me the examples of like the animation and how cool that is. Well, show me how the economy is going to work. Show me how the resources are going to work. Like show me those things. And I don't know. I don't know. So I think it's a really interesting project. I think it's going to, like I said, I backed it. I think it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I mean, he's made some great, amazing games. I think regardless of what it ends up being, it's probably going to be a pretty awesome experience. I just don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. And maybe there's some more data out there. Maybe there's such a shit ton of videos and stuff to go through that maybe I just haven't gone through it all. Maybe I'm missing some stuff, but
maybe you haven't picked up the right pamphlet.
Possible. Well, that's like I think I love that kind of stuff. So I love that actually. Like that I think that's super cool. So like people don't know what I'm talking about. You go to like the website for it. It's like a website in character. You know, it's like the corporation and it's all written from the perspective of like a real world. Nothing is written from like a dev sort of gamer kind of perspective. It's all written from like, this is real. These are real things. These are ships. That's why I was saying there's PDF pamphlets on like the ships and talking about like the different, engines.
You're like all
and
about the immersion, Gary.
I actually really like that stuff.
The immersion.
No, because I
don't
actually
run by with a goofy name. It might break my immersion.
I really think that adds to an experience. I really do. I think details make a lot. I was an editor for years, and editors pay attention to like finite details. Like we make edits. You can edit every 30 frames every second, and they make so much difference. And I kind of think it's the same thing in storytelling. I don't know. I'm excited. I can't wait to get into alpha. It looks great. That graphics engine looks fantastic.
There's not going to be an NDA, isn't there? Wasn't that one of the things they said? There's no NDA on it.
I don't know.
Once they start letting people in, I don't think there's an NDA.
And I think they're talking about chat room will tell me, but I think they're talking about Q4 of this year, Q3, Q4 alpha. I believe that's the goal. Q4.
Chat confirm Q3, Q4 NDA confirm.
Yeah, I think it's Q4. All right, let's take another call. All right, who is on the line? Where are you from? What's your name?
Hey, guys.
Oh, I know that voice. It's Eduardo's Corner.
I've watched AD enough to know that voice.
What's up, Eduardo? How are you, sir? That's your segment of the show. How are you? Did you have a good week?
Well, I'm fine. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic. I've had better days with my thumb, but
doing well.
Well, yeah. Aside from the leprosy or whatever you got, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Who knows about tomorrow? Maybe I won't wake up. So this might be your last call. You may be the last caller on After Dark ever. You may never speak to me again. What's up, buddy? What's been going on in your week?
Kinds of websites. You should make a website for your thumbnail.
Can I make a website for Eduardo?
Oh, well, I had a Steam sale question, but it got asked.
What about them stealing money?
Beginning of the show, but don't worry, I
got a backup. You got contingencies. We have contingency plans in place for our phone call. Well, wait, Steam sale. What did you buy this week? What did you spend a lot of money this week? What did you pick up?
Oh no, I learned my lesson 2 years ago when I spent a lot of money, and then I had a ton of games that I never even touched. No, I bought Don't Starve and a few DLCs, and that was it.
Okay. Light week.
Yeah, because, I know that I will only play one game, and that's it.
I did the exact same thing on the last Steam sale. I bought like 15 games in the last Steam sale. They're all sitting in my Steam inbox, and they've got like 0 hours played. It was like all this older stuff that I really wish I had played. It was like $1, $2.50, $3. I was like, of course I'm gonna buy Siberia 2 that I'm never gonna play. All right, so how's your time to kick in the contingency plan? What's your question?
Okay. Well, who is the best cross-dresser in video games? And I mean a video game character, because we have Pac-Man, who is Mrs. Pac-Man. We have Birdo from the Super Mario games. We have Bridget from Gear. We have Poison.
What about what's the character's name from Devil May Cry? I'm gonna go with that.
Dante?
Yeah. I'm going with Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh my god.
Emo chick.
Are those guys on the SMAT logo? Are those males or females? I haven't looked close enough.
Hey!
I don't know. Man. I'm asking. Like you're always like, oh, they can zoom in and zoom out and do this with the vectors and all that.
One of them is Shafted and one of them is me. One of them is Shafted and one of them is me.
Those are my favorite cross-dressers.
Oh, perfect. Fired.
Oh, come on. They don't like look overly masculine. See, there they are.
Overly masculine.
They are not
There-
video
there-
game
see,
characters.
now look at that. He's definitely the best cross-dresser.
Shaftnet is your favorite crossdresser.
I don't
Yeah.
think you could scale that image, though. That's
Well, yes,
might
actually,
get
that's
pixelated.
well. This is the second time I've asked this question, and yes, Shaftnet comes up very often as an answer. I don't know why he's not even a video game character.
I don't know either. Wait,
yeah,
you know
other
what?
people have
I don't
said
know.
that
I got to give
Shaftnet is the
Shaftnet.
best crossdresser.
I'm going to give Shaftnet some. Hang on. I'm going to give. I don't know. Can I nominate myself?
No, I already gave you and Shaftnet the award. You can't then in turn nominate yourself.
Yeah, but
I
I don't know.
already
If, I don't,
there
nominated
is
you
already.
two.
but I don't know if the After
There
Dark
is a-
crowd has seen this picture. You want to see this picture? I don't know if you want to see this picture of me. This is me at 18.
Oh,
I may
definitely.
win. I may win this.
Is this the hair?
Wait, I may win this. I didn't really think about this, but I may win this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shutterstock.
Uh,
I'm a good-looking chick. I would bang me.
Oh man.
yeah, I will probably hit on you accidentally as
See?
well.
You guys need some time? I mean, I can leave for a little while.
It's all right.
No, yes, this is gonna be over soon. Don't worry.
What, life in general? No, I'm not ashamed of it. I love my long hair. Sometimes I wish I had it back. I don't think I'll grow it back though. I've got great hair.
It's got the right
Oh,
idea. There's now a weekly free-to-play TV show called Dat Hair.
That hair. I've never worn a dress though. I can tell you that. I've never put on a dress. Haven't done it. Dante. I'm calling Eduardo Dante now.
Dante, what's up, Dante?
Hey Dante, what? Who do you think is the best video game crossdresser out there?
Well,
leave?
probably
Oh, there it is.
Poison from the Final Fight and Street Fighter series. Well, I like to creep my friends out, telling them that she's actually a transsexual, and it's very fun to watch their reactions.
Yeah, and depending on what country you're in and version you're playing, there's some censorship going on that model too.
I think it's supposed to say
Yeah.
what's the PC terminology now? Is it transgender? It is, right?
Well,
Depends
well,
on who you're talking to. I don't think
transsexual is
that's-
someone who modifies their secondary sexual characteristics through surgery and hormone replacement treatments. That would be a transsexual. A transvestite is someone who just wears the clothes from the other gender, but do not necessarily goes through any kind of procedure.
Gotcha. Good knowledge. He's got good knowledge of the transgender, that Eduardo. Thanks, Eduardo. Always good to hear from you, and we'll be looking forward to your call next week because we know you're going to call back again, and maybe next week your question won't be taken. But make sure you have a contingency plan in place because you never know.
Okay.
You never know what's going to happen. So speaking of super mega awesome time, those manly characters,
They do not look manly.
come on. They're pretty badass. I love these characters. I
They are
love
cool.
these characters. I
They
do.
are cool.
I search and search and search. Guess where I searched? Bam! Shutterstock.com. That's right. Shutterstock. So happy to have these guys on as sponsors. I love the Shutterstock. We use them constantly. Day in, day out. There is not a day Gamebreaker TV is not on Shutterstock for whatever you need. We needed a YouTube page, right? Boom. Look at this YouTube page. It looks fantastic. It only looks fantastic because we went to Shutterstock.com and got some awesome artwork. Nobody, we're not drawing that stuff. Think who could come up with these characters? I think it's important for you. Do you find, seriously, do you find like it's important to kind of like attach some, even if it's either a caricature or a photo or something, do you find that a lot of the YouTube pages like that are personality driven, like it's kind of important to like attach something like that? Because this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to like, we didn't want to put like our faces on it, but we wanted like some sort of characters to, because we're not like, we don't do the camera thing on the gameplays. So we wanted like some sort of caricatures to sort of like represent the two of us playing. And
Absolutely. I mean, you're the marketing guy more than I am. I just know a little bit about, what works and what doesn't from what I buy. surf through YouTube, you can find 900 videos about Cube World that were posted in the last 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
You go to the ones that you want to watch, not because of the games, it's because of the personalities. And the way they present themselves and sell their personalities. And those images and pictures, and that's huge. Huge.
And
Which
the
is
best way to do
why
it.
I asked you to make my images for me. Because I suck.
And I'm telling you, like I talk about it time and time again. You guys have heard me do the the Shutterstock advert before, and I'll say it a million times. It's just it's such an amazing resource to have this at your fingertips. Like I didn't have to call or like try and hire an artist, and I can't even imagine what an artist. First, I can't even imagine what an artist would charge me to draw these up. And the amount of iterations I'd probably have to go through with them, which they'd probably be charging for as well. Like an artist would probably come to you and say like, at minimum, at this level, these are pretty damn good. I'd say like at this level, I'm just going to ballpark it and say like, you're talking somebody's going to at least probably commission you for like $400 or $500, like probably about $400 or $500, and maybe give you like maybe 2 revisions tops where they're going to say like, okay, I'll send you some ideas. And if you don't like them, I'll make some revisions, but then you're stuck with it.
Yep.
And I'm just, it's not cost effective for stuff like this, for making YouTube channels and websites and things like that. So for Gamebreaker, this is what we do. I mean, we go over here, go to Shutterstock, start searching for stuff, start searching for characters, start searching for vector artwork. There's tons of stuff. Like, there you go. I mean, it's like awesome. Like you want a cartoony kind of feel on your YouTube channel to kind of represent you. There's so much artwork and vector artwork on here. It's just, I could go through for days and days and days. Same thing with stock footage. Maybe you got a video and you're looking for stock footage and you're like, I don't know, underwater diving footage. I'm sure they've got it, like graphics packages, logos, the whole nine. It's a lifesaver. It's a lifesaver for Gamebreaker because our websites would not look as good as they do if it wasn't for Shutterstock, because I'd literally be making everything myself and it would look like shit. So go to Shutterstock.com. Offer is good for free accounts or new accounts. All you got to do is use promo code Gamebreaker7. Make sure you use the promo code Gamebreaker with the number 7, and going to save you 30% off, which is just an awesome killer deal. So go check it out today. Go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code Gamebreaker7. Get your website looking as good as Gamebreaker's. All right, last call of the night. Hey, you're on with the After Dark crew. What is your name? Where are you from?
Hey, it's Squirrel from Gamebreaker Nation, but really enough.
Hello, Squirrel from Gamebreaker Nation that doesn't exist yet, but thank you for talking about it anyway, because it's coming soon.
Yeah, I am kind of actually glad that Mike Sheffnick called in earlier, because sitting in before the show, we were sitting in Mumble, and Zista was like, who is this new guy? Where is my Sheffnick?
Sorry, I can't fill the Shafnit seat. I know he does a much better job at this show than I do. I'm just filling in because he wanted to see his family for a week. I'm like, okay, you can go see them, but I'm trying. Hopefully, I did.
And then Gary unlocked the chain around his ankle and said, "Go ahead, you can see your family for a little while."
Shafnit is his own man. He does what he wants. He's like he's a master of shows and art and behind the scenes stuff. It's ridiculous. He built an entire green screen studio in like 48 hours. It's ridiculous. I got to take a picture of it and show you guys. It's like a lighting setup, green screen. He built a freaking teleprompter. He built a teleprompter. Sorry, going off on a tangent. What's your question?
One of the bigger things I bought on the Steam sale was the RPG Maker VX-Ace. And I've spent like probably 10 hours just playing with it, making my own game and playing it. And I was wondering if y'all guys have ever dealt with any kind of software like that and play games like that, and what do you think of those versus?
I have not. First, explain
games.
Explain it to me first for those people that don't really know exactly what this product is. What it is? So it's a tool set basically to create an RPG.
Yeah, it's a program. You get these templates and things, and you can build a game. It looks a lot like Final Fantasy 1, but it's you can like choose your different squares and what the artwork looks like and what happens when you touch this square and like what monsters appear and how powerful your weapons are and basically everything that goes into coding a game. It's really, I spent lost hours doing it.
Wow. And is there like a portal or some way for you to like put your games up online for people to play them? Is it?
from what I've seen, it said you can export it as exe file and you can distribute it however you want. So I guess you could put it up on your website or something like that, or Dropbox or whatever.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, cool. So are you an aspiring game developer? Like, why do you have such an interest in something like this? Or are you just kind of messing around?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to school for computer science. I kind of hope to get into the mobile gaming area. Kind of what I want to do.
Well, it sounds like a good tool. Burn, you picked this up, didn't you?
These were the downloadable contents that I mentioned earlier. Were the only thing I bought from the Steam sale so far. It was the DLC for this, for RPG Maker.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this whole thing? I'm not all up on the RPG Maker, so explain it to me. Like, what I get
All right, well,
the idea
let's
of.
go. Let's
are
go
you
in
like getting?
terms that-
Is this like a whole
that you
community
do.
of RPG Maker people like making these things where you like download them and play all different people's to see like what they're sort of
You
doing?
can. Yes, exactly. Let's put it in terms of, I know we didn't do a commercial for them, so please forgive me here, but Squarespace, right?
Mhm.
They give you the ability to host the website, build the website, do all this stuff from templates, but then they also give you access to the back-end HTML if you want. Well, imagine that RPG Maker says, Gary, all right, you want to make an RPG game? Here you go. We're going to give you a bunch of different people and character models and monster models and tiles that you can use to build a map and build a 3D world and build the inn and build this and build that. We're going to give you all of this, all the visual assets, the sound assets, and everything. And just like Squarespace, you could take all these things, slap them all together any way you want in any pattern, and make yourself an RPG and decide what the dialogue will be, and you type who says what and when, and all your events and things like that. Or if you want that extra level of customization, you could actually go to something like Shutterstock, take images from there that you've purchased of your little characters and put them into the assets of RPG Maker, so you and Shap and your superhero figures could actually be characters in the game. You can make your own assets and put them in, and if you really, really want to get hardcore, you could dump into the back end and start hardcore programming by hand to create situations that the templates maybe don't give you by themselves. So game development on easy mode, which really isn't easy, but it is very, very easier than coding, or development old school and writing all the code by hand. Now, this particular software is limited to RPGs, although you can get pretty creative with things. It's a lot of fun to mess with. I've messed with it since the old PlayStation versions of this, when they came out with RPG Maker and Dungeon Fighter. But then there's also versions that you can create anything with, like Gamebreaker is a software suite out there that does kind of the same thing but isn't RPG restrictive. Huge community. You can export as exe files when you're done, and you are free to distribute any way you want, including monetized if you so desire.
Wow, really, really interesting. So this is definitely one I want to bring up on Monty's Minute. Actually, no, we got a new name for it, the Game Biz. But that's something I want to bring up to Monty and talk about. That's a video game business show that we talk about stuff like this all the time. We get questions all the time about tools and stuff and like what we should use, what they should use to learn to get it. This is a great tool. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, this sounds like it would be a great tool for especially people who want to be writers and storytellers, but maybe don't want to necessarily become like programmers and don't want to like, they don't want to sit and learn like code and all that. They really want to tell a story. Here's a great way to tell a story inside of a game. Wow, really interesting. What does something like this cost?
Typically, it's about a $70, $75 software suite. When it went on sale in the summer sale, it was 28 or 29 USD and some change. And then the different 5 or 6 or 7 or so DLC packs went on sale for anywhere from $4 to $10. They're normally about 15.
Interesting. Yeah, $70.
This definitely hits a huge mark on something that Monty said on a show a long time ago. One of the very first shows. It's something that stuck with me, where somebody says, how can I get my name out there to these people or get my idea out there? And he brought up networking and how important that is. Get your butt to the conferences. And he also brought up build a model, even if it's just scraps of paper that you've torn and they represent a certain game system or a mechanic. Bring that and show people that. This is, like you said, perfect. Instead of a paper model, this is, let me show you 5 minutes of a story that I've done myself. let me show you this new battle system that I think works.
Really
that I've
interesting
done myself.
stuff. When is
It's fun
somebody going to make
stuff,
the
too.
Gamebreaker game? That'd be great.
I got
I'd love
all
to
the
see
stuff
that.
here.
Hey,
Tell me,
community.
you
No,
know, let's-
I was
let's
throwing it to the
brainstorm
community.
all
If you-
together.
When do you have time? You got to write for, you got to editor in chief of freetoplay.tv. You got like 9,000 computer games and 20,000 consoles. No, but if you want to, but even the community, if you guys, I think it'd be awesome. Hey, I'll throw it out there and say, like, if anybody watching this show, if you guys are into RPG Maker, yeah, if you guys want to make a Gamebreaker game, that'd be amazing. Put all the of us into the game and kind of make a little adventure game out of it. That'd be pretty sweet. I would definitely check it out.
And there is a little free trial if you want to check it out too.
Very cool. It's rpgmakerweb.com. So rpgmakerweb.com is the website on that piece of software. Hey, Mike Byrne, follow him on Twitter at MagicMan. It's MAGICKMANN1. And of course, go to freetoplay.com, not freetoplay.com, freetoplay.tv. I wish I had that .com, but I don't. So don't go there. Don't have it. Wish I did. Freetoplay.tv. He's the editor-in-chief over there, so if you're looking for a free-to-play game, make sure to go over to freetoplay.tv. Got tons of them, including some reviews. What did we put up today? You got World of Warplanes just went up?
World of Warplanes just went up. Troy. Now that one may change a little bit because the cash
Still in
shop
beta.
still in beta, and the cash shop is still being worked out. So it could go up, but looks like we've got it at almost an 8, and viewers right now have it at just slightly over an 8. So pretty close.
Go check it out. Over to freeplay.tv. You can follow me on Twitter at Gary Gannon. Follow Gamebreaker TV at Gamebreaker TV. Join our Steam group, which is GBTV, or just search for Gamebreaker.tv. And of course, Facebook.com/Gamebreaker TV. So all the good stuff. The Gamebreaker Nation is coming soon. Mike Shaffman will be back next week for more After Dark. Have a great week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on some more After Dark. Get your questions ready. Get your questions ready. Get your questions ready.